like it. Smooth.
Here we go.
What are you doing?
It's Tuesday night. Oh,
Tuesday.
Background music on too. I like it.
What is that from?
That's a happy face right there.
Where's that even from?
Yeah.
Man. How many shots is that in?
That's what Olee was talking about when your ears were tucked behind your hat.
He could be a hobbit. I don't know.
Could
Like
be
a little Pippin or who's the other one? Mary. Mm-hmm. Oh.
I had to wear the red hat tonight. Get the Fred Durst going.
Mm-hmm. Looking good, man. What's up, fellas? It's Tuesday night. Welcome, everybody. Man, we're episode 104. Keep off the grass. Yeah, buddy. Spring's not that far away, man. Less than a month and a half for the official. I think it's March 20th is the first day of spring. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm counting down the days. You guys?
Yeah, I am. Heck yeah, I am.
And who else is in this like fake ass kind of spring mode right now? Where like 50s and high 40s and all the snow's melting and
the sun's shining.
Oh, dude, like everyone around here is like, oh, like I'm seeing motorcycles out right now. And I'm like, oh, it's going to snow again. It's going to get cold again. Like too good to be true, you know?
I know. I was looking at like the 14-day extended forecast is like not bad. You know, it's not crazy warm, but it's like, all right, it's like winter's over. Like, you know, there's going to be something like mid-March probably that just wrecks everything and, you know, it gets dumped. So anything could happen, but I'm pumped that it's warming up at least some days anyway. It's nice.
Thanks, LTZ.
Right.
LTZ.
There it is.
Man, that's a lot of change.
Those are all nickels.
All right. Well, let's get this show started, fellas. I got my beverage vessel. Let's welcome Keep Off the Grass, episode 104. Let's all raise a glass. Get this show started, man. Keep off the grass.
Here we go. Official drinkware.
Yeah, buddy. Big old tumbler. Mm-hmm. So we're talking grass seed today, guys. Perfect timing for lead up to spring, huh?
Yeah. Who we with today?
Well, we got Servando with Berger International, Berger Seed. I don't know what the official name is. I just keep calling you guys Berger Seed because that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
Welcome to Keep Off the Grass.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Based out of Oregon, I think. Is that right?
Yep. So we're in the northern Willamette Valley. So yeah, just the northern part of Oregon. So actually with the name, it's interchangeable. So the Berger International came into play about a decade ago when there was kind of an ownership change. So to people that have known us, we've always been Berger Seed, but to people that are just knowing us for the first time, it's Berger International. So it's interchangeable between the Berger Seed and Berger International.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like, I haven't heard of you guys before until we connected. And then I was like, looking you guys up and stuff. But
yeah,
I know there's a lot of seed that are grown out in the Oregon area. Tell us a little bit about, Berger and kind of, the background of the company and kind of what you guys do and kind of where you fit in with all that.
Yeah. So definitely. So as you guys know, or have seen on the website, we're a 6th generation company. I'm not a part of the family ownership. But I kind of grew up working for Bergers throughout the summers in high school, driving swather and combine. My dad and brother still work here as well. And then I moved down to Eugene to go to school. And then I got an internship with a bigger grass seed company called Smith Seed Services. So they're the largest privately owned grass seed company here in Oregon, but they focus a little bit more on the forage and cover crop side. And so that's kind of where I got my experience on the sales end. But then once school finished up, I wanted to move back closer to home, where I was living in Eugene compared to where it is that I live now, it's about an hour and a half away. And so the opportunity came up to work for Bergers again, because I really enjoyed and missed driving swather and combine. So that was kind of a part of the deal is to bring my sales experience, but then also to be able to drive equipment in the summer, because there's nothing like driving equipment. Very long days, but very soothing, as I'm sure, everybody here in the group knows what it's like to go out and mow the lawn or do yard work. It's very satisfying, but also very soothing. as far as the company goes, so what it is that we really focus on in our bread and butter is turf type tall fescue. You may not have heard of us before, but chances are you've probably used seed that we've produced, because we also produce for 4 or 5 of the larger companies here in Oregon as well. So if you've used a blend from one of the bigger companies or a straight variety, and I don't know if I'm allowed to name the companies or varieties, but there's
you can name them if you want, but you don't have to. You know,
no,
sometimes you're not allowed to.
But yeah, so there's a good chance that you've used seed that we've produced, not necessarily our varieties, but seed that we've produced for those bigger companies. And so when it comes to our breakdown, the majority of what we do is turf type tall fescue. But then we also do red clover, crimson clover, and wheat. But those last 3 are more for crop rotations. So as we were talking about, typically, a tall fescue field will stay in the ground for anywhere from 4 to 6 is typically what a contract is with a grass seed company. And it can keep going after that, as long as, both the grower and seed company are satisfied with how things are going. And so there's some tall fescue fields that I think are maybe 18 or close to 20 years old. And so the only thing that would, I guess, pressure a field to come out is if there's weed pressure, or if there is mice and vole pressure, and that field just isn't producing as well as it should be. So that just gets taken out. And then, it's either put in red clover for 2 years or put in crimson clover and then wheat after that. And then we go back into tall fescue.
Do you put the clover in for, I've always heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but clover produces nitrogen.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Is that the reason for rotating it?
Exactly. So it just builds up the soil. So both the red and crimson would be more for building up the soil. The wheat is kind of just, I guess, choke out any weeds that might be remaining. Yeah, so that would be the benefit, is fixing nitrogen and also kind of helping break down the soil so it's easier to disc up.
Do you guys harvest like anything with the clover, or do you just use it as a cover crop?
No. So we would harvest it. So for the crimson, we harvest it for the seed. For the red clover, we get 2 cuts out of it. So the first cut, we'll cut and it'll just go into silage bales. And then the second time when we harvest it, it'll be for the actual seed production. So
okay,
that's crazy. That's cool.
That's awesome.
It's like this picture would be the crimson. A lot of people pull into the driveway there.
So it's got to be a little bit of a sight to drive across, as you're going down the road.
Exactly. And when it comes to summertime, anywhere that you're at in the Willamette Valley, you definitely see a lot of awesome looking crops, and you just see people pulled over left and right taking pictures. So
that's pretty cool.
What's all the white dots back there in the background?
So those I guess little dots in the back, those would be the silage bales that are, I guess, wrapped up in plastic. And so there's silage bales.
That drone's up there.
Yeah. Definitely. It's maybe higher than 400 feet, but exactly.
So what's the size of this front plot we're looking at now? Do you know how many acres that is?
So that's 100 and some change. And so you can't see it, but the way that the drone is facing would be the northwest. And to the southern part, there's another 100-acre field. So it really just depends on how it is that it's broken down. But altogether, collectively, I think it's about 200 and some change. But this particular one would be about 100 and something acres there. So
that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
And as far as everything else that we do, we also do hazelnuts as well. And that doesn't really have anything to do with grass. That's more just to diversify our portfolio in the hopes that if for whatever reason the grass seed market's down, we have something else to I guess, hold us up. I guess it'd be unfortunate if all markets are down, but it's good to be diversified there. And then as far as what it is that we provide and what it is that our giveaway is, so we also have our proprietary varieties, which would be Extreme Green and Integrity. And those have been around for, I think, close to a decade. They're also in the NTEP, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. But those haven't really been marketed or promoted outside of the Valley. So we own the rights to those, but also pay the breeder their royalty for developing the variety itself. But yeah, those have kind of just always been in the background. So our owner, Becky, she wears maybe 12 or 15 different hats. And as I was telling Bill before the show, a lot of farmers don't have time to work on the sales and marketing end. So they just want to grow for a seed company and know that, the seed's going to be sold by somebody else, and they don't have to worry about the selling or marketing. And so that's kind of how my role came into, I guess, working for Berger's, is being able to expand the domestic market with the proprietary varieties. And so with the 2 varieties that we have, since they're a little bit on the older end, there's always new genetics coming out. So that's why we have Top Shelf coming out as well. And ultimately, we have 2 more varieties in production, but those won't actually have any like useful production, because when we put them in the ground, we use seed stock and then grow it out. So then I guess it kind of just multiplies the seed that we have to then be able to go into bigger production. But our hope long term, since we've only had the 2. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No,
but like whenever you start that, like I'm sure you got things in the works, but before it's out, tagged, bagged, ready to sell, how long of a period of time before that happens? Is it like 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, so actually, it's pretty much right on the money there. It's about 2 to 3 years. So when we get seed from a breeder, it could be only 100 pounds, 200 pounds, not that much at all. And so that's why we kind of have to keep building up that production. So say from that 100 to 200 pounds, we get 1,000 or 2,000, and we kind of just keep expanding it. So it takes about 2 to 3 years to get full production for where we can sell a full lot. And so typically with our lots, they're 55,000 pounds. So yeah, we kind of just have to build it up when we get that breeder seed.
On the seed, is it one harvest a year, or does it produce seed more than once a year? Is it one and done?
No, so it would just be once a year. And so typically we start swathing around July, the 1st of July. It keeps getting later and later, but typically the 4th of July is kind of where it is that we want to start swathing. And then typically 2 to 3 weeks after that's when we actually start combining the fescue, at least. So,
okay. Is there any, so why fescue as opposed to one of the other lesser varieties available?
Well, yeah, because the tall fescue is the best. Exactly. Exactly. No, so I mean, that's kind of how it's always been. So that's kind of what we've always stuck with, is my understanding from the 6 generations, is that's just what it is that we've liked to stick to. And so when I've talked to other companies, we're in a very unique position because we're a grower, but then also a very small seed dealer. Bigger seed dealers would be like Mountain View, Pennington, DLF, Smith Seed Services, Turf Merch, and so on and so forth. So compared to them, they could squash us like a bug. But we sit in an interesting position because we are both a grower and a small dealer. So we get to see things from, I guess, both ends. And from us, again, there's a lot of more people in our area that also do perennial ryegrass and other grasses as well. But for us, I guess I like to think of us as kind of like a butcher that gives you high quality cuts. So the tall fescue would kind of be our specialty versus other companies that, have perennial and fescue and bluegrass, which is great, but we just want to really stick with the turf type tall fescue.
So
and
you guys,
also,
you were saying that, you guys grow for other labels, but then you guys also sell your own proprietary names, within Oregon. Is this new for you guys to try to expand beyond Oregon more so and kind of maybe make a more of a national presence, or is this, tell me a little bit about that. Are you guys growing or wanting to kind of branch out the homeowner market more so, or?
Yeah, no. So I'm glad you asked. So our breakdown is depending on the year. So overall, we're just a little bit under 3,500 acres that we farm year round, and a little bit above half of that would be tall fescue, and about half of that would be contracted seed with the bigger seed companies, and then about the other half would be our proprietary varieties. And so again, the Extreme Green and Integrity are kind of new in the sense that it's something within the past 10 years that we've really brought in. But again, since Becky has kind of been the only person to, I guess, be the face at Berger International, and she just has a lot on her plate. So that's why I got brought in to kind of expand that market. Because again, besides selling to the companies within the Valley, the international part comes in because we also sell into Europe and China. But on the domestic end, it hasn't really gone outside of Oregon directly. And so with bringing in another variety this coming year, I guess our first real production was this year, this past crop year for the Top Shelf. And then we have 2 more in production that we're hoping to get, sellable production within the next year or two. And so something else that we haven't done that I know you guys thought that we maybe did was blends. But since we've only had 2 proprietary varieties, we haven't really gotten into blending because nobody wants a 2-way drift type fescue blend. It's usually 3 or 4 varieties in there that people prefer. So now that we're approaching that, that's definitely something that we're looking at. So the way that I even heard about KOTG was from my own personal experience. So we got our house maybe 13 months ago, and it's on 3/4 of an acre, and is really getting into lawn care. And that's kind of how, started watching all these channels on YouTube, but then also Instagram with Olee and Bill as well. And that's where I kind of started taking it more seriously. And then the giveaway came up, and I was like, oh, I guess there's never really been a connect between the end user of the product and then the producer. It's usually the seed companies interacting with the end users and the seed companies interacting with the growers, but not necessarily, I guess, bridging that gap between the producers and the end users. So yeah, I guess that's kind of where it is that we sit. So.
Hey, real quick, we got a question from Lawn Radiance. He wants to know if the yield was affected, much like others in the Oregon area, when it was lower and drove prices higher. Kind of the seed shortage and everybody was freaking out.
Yeah. So pretty much, I want to say, so if you were to look at a map of Oregon and you see where Portland is, there's the I-5 corridor, and I think it's maybe like 100 and some change miles that the Willamette Valley actually is. And that's where pretty much 90%, if not more, of the Oregon grass seed is grown. There's some in Central Oregon as well, and then some in the Great Basin in Washington, but the majority would be in the Willamette Valley. And so when I pretty much want to say that every company was affected in 2021 when the yields were low because of the drought and the heat. So yeah, pretty much everybody was affected equally, including ourselves. But I guess in a scenario like that, having our proprietary varieties really came in because there was a hot demand from the seed companies and other companies as well for that seed. So we were able to get top dollar.
Where are you at?
So we're going to be in I guess I would be in McVinnville, which if you look at the red dot where Salem is, McVinnville would be right there. And as far as our acreage goes, we're pretty spread out, pretty much just northwest of Portland, all the way, I guess, just down below McVinnville as well. So that's the other thing. We're by no means one of the bigger farmers in the area as well, but we are pretty spread out.
I see that Tillamook, the cheese factory over there.
That's right. And the ice cream. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. They make ice cream too?
Yeah.
That I didn't know, man. I only ever had the cheese.
Yep.
I'm have to try to find me some Tillamook ice cream. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So
hey, is this is way off topic, but is hemp grown a lot around there?
Nope. Not really anymore. So kind of the same thing with hazelnuts, where it was a new thing, and then everybody decided to jump on it, flooded the market, so then the price kind of crashed on the hemp there. So it is growing, but not as much as it was 1 to 2 years ago. But back to the shortage. So there was a shortage in 2021 because I don't want to forget to talk about this. And so, a lot of people were on allocation. So companies like the one that I was at would look at historical, I guess, sales and say, well, these are companies that have bought from us historically, and these are the amounts. So this is the amount that we can allocate to you if you need it, which would be the distributors. But a lot of people bought, not necessarily because they needed, and by this I'm referring to distributors, just to have it on hand because they didn't know what the next year was going to look like. Whereas this past year, it seems like a lot of distributors had carryover, so there wasn't anywhere as near of a demand as there was in 2021. And so coming into this 2023 harvest, there's a lot less acres that were put in when it comes to turf top tall fescue and red clover, simply because harvest was pushed back so far that it really pushed planting time a little bit too close to that first frost in the winter. So a lot of people that were going to put in red clover or put in tall fescue opted to put in crimson clover and wheat instead, because if it was too close to that first frost in the winter, it was very unlikely that the crop was actually going to make it. So stuff like that will probably be spring planted, depending on how it is that it makes it through the winter. So with the shortage in 2021, with the surplus in 2022, and a possible, I want to say, kind of shortage in 2023, depending on how things look, I think it's going to even out with the shortage in 2021, surplus last year, and maybe a little bit of a shortage this year from what it is that people were expecting. I think with that carryover of inventory, things should even out for this coming fall. So that's not, I'm not an expert by any means.
Hopefully we won't have trouble finding seed. It just may not be quite as cheap as we remember from, say, 2020 or 2019.
Exactly. So yeah, availability, I don't think would be an issue. But again, I think prices will probably stabilize.
Hey, I see you running the machine here. So are you guys working the soil here? Are you planting, and also with that question, what type of fertility program are you guys on?
Ooh, good questions.
Yeah. So as far as that goes, I'm on the sales end. So when it comes to like this dirt work, so this field actually was red clover before. And then so this would kind of be the final pass to really even everything out and really make the soil as fine as possible. But prior to this, depending on how old the field is, we'll go through it with the discs and kind of just, I guess, break it up. But it usually takes about 2 to 3 passes with the discs before we get to the rollers and before we get to the leveler and roller to, I guess, because right after this pass would pretty much be where it is that we would bring in the drill to plant whatever it is that we're going to plant. And so this field now was red clover, but now it's going to be a fescue. So. The only machines that I drive would be the swather and the combines. Those are the, I want to say,
those are the only ones you drive.
Yeah. Easiest and the funnest for sure. So.
Were you driving this when you were flying it?
No. So this stuff, I was just pulled over on the side of the field. The only times that I guess I was flying and driving would be on the combine. And like what I was saying before, it was a lot harder than I originally thought to multitask of driving the combine and flying the drone, especially when it came to unloading in the grain bin there. But yeah,
that's the one that you crashed, right? The combine that was on fire. You crashed that one?
No, so I was not driving that one. That was somebody else.
Flying the drone. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so that would be when it is that we were harvesting the red clover there, again it was a lost cause. So it went from trying to put out the fire on the combine to try to save it, and once that was a lost cause, it was more of preventing that fire from spreading.
Was it electric? Was it a lithium-ion battery?
No, definitely not DeWalt.
Oh no!
I hope I don't get sued.
You can't say it. You can't say the D word.
Oh man, I wish I was there. That
was like the word.
He likes the D word. Yeah.
I was gonna say something, but.
So you were saying earlier when we were talking about that, it was all the dust and the stuff kicked up. Do you think maybe it just got heated and it just spark, or is this common for combines, or something that's like? I mean, I can't imagine it's common, but this is not like a crazy unique.
And that's a super dusty operation.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was gonna say, you see, obviously I live in Iowa and there's a lot of combining and farming going on, but you'll see a tractor burn up at least once a year, like in the fields and shit like that.
And if that's newer and has all the DPF crap on it, it runs even hotter.
Yep. So exactly what I was talking about before the show. So when it comes to tall fescue or perennial, there's a lot more straw in the chaff, whereas when it comes to the red clover and crimson, it's a lot dustier. Not necessarily because it's dirt, but it's just a lot finer. So that tends to build up on the back of the combine a little bit easier. And so when we're harvesting the red clover, it's also generally the time of the season where it's a little bit windier. And so like in this particular case, especially when we're doing red clover, because it is a little bit more hazardous, we try to stay together in a group just to keep an eye on each other. But in this case, it was one of those things where 2 of us were together, and one of this combine that caught on fire was on top of the hill. And so the only way that we really knew that it was on fire is because one of our guys was flailing the field right next to us. And so typically if we're taking out a tall fescue field, we flail it to get the grass stalks as short as possible to make it easier to disc. And so the way that he was driving down the hill in the flail, I mean, the only time somebody does that is when, somebody's in danger or when there's a fire. And so that's kind of what the giveaway was. But by the time, and I mean, he was hauling to the water truck, which fortunately was right at the end of the field. But by the time we actually got the water truck up the hill, that's where we realized it was kind of a lost cause to try to save the combine there and more to keep the fire from spreading. And so thankfully, because the red clover is in windrows, it didn't spread as easily. Whereas if this was a wheat field, there probably would have been a lot more crop damage. So. But Olee, as you were talking about, we actually had another combine catch on fire, I think maybe within the last 5 years. But that one was an older combine, which was a lot more metal in regards to the body. Whereas that combine that caught on fire, I think was maybe 2 or 3 years old by the time it caught on fire. But I mean, all the panels that were metal on the old combines are now fiberglass on the newer combines. And even, I mean, the diesel tank is plastic on these. So yeah, as soon as it got going in the back, it just really spread really quickly. So
that's crazy. Yeah. So we heard that there might be a couple bags to give away tonight.
Yeah. So whatever winners whoever the winners are, they can choose between any of our 3 varieties. All 3 of them have been in the NTEP. The 2 older ones have been in the NTEP. This most recent round, the top shelf would be in it. And I'm trying to think. I think it might be I don't think it's in his top shelf. I think it's like BGR-3 or something like that. If people were to look in the NTEP. So yeah, I mean, the only thing that I ask is for feedback and testimonial pictures of how it is that it ended up once, if they're either doing a spring overseeding or a completely new establishment. So that'd be great feedback on our end.
Okay. If we want to do, say you put in a burger into the chat, I'll work on the wheel. Would you be able to pull up the labels of these 3 ones? Do you have that picture, Zach, to do in the meantime?
No, I don't.
Oh man.
Let's see. As far as labels go, I mean, all 3 of those.
I wanted to see like what, I mean, it looks like it's, I mean, your information looks like it's really good stuff. And I was also curious to see kind of, is there any differences between those 3 products? Like, if you were to tell somebody, which one should I get? What would you tell them, the benefits of one versus another?
Yeah. So as far as the extreme, as I'm sure you guys know, the label doesn't really tell you much about its performance. It just tells you how high of quality of seed it is. And so all 3 of them, no crop weeds, no weed seeds, really high purity. Kind of the standard for turf type Paul fescue is 98-85, which is 98 purity, 85 germ. And so again, we're really known for our quality. But when it comes to the differences, let's see, I have some notes here. So amongst all 3 of them, they have really good genetic color. Yeah, actually, so those are the analysis tags for whatever the winners want to choose. But when it comes to the differences, the Integrity and Extreme Green and Top Shelf would have really excellent genetic color. The Integrity and Extreme Green would have pretty good summer density. Everything else is okay, but I guess that would kind of be what I guess the best aspects of the Integrity and Extreme Green would be. Would definitely be the summer density and the genetic color. In regards to that, the Extreme Green has a little bit better summer density than the Integrity. And I guess that's really the benefit of a blend is you can choose between different varieties and, one might really excel at summer density. One might really excel at a spring green up. And I guess that's the benefit is that you kind of get the best of all 3 or 4 worlds when you put together a blend. So yeah, I guess it's really just a matter of personal choice and preference. But the Integrity and Extreme Green, since they were kind of brought up together, they are pretty similar when it comes to drought resistance, the genetic color, and so on and so forth. So
awesome. So are we taking names right now?
Burger with fries.
Yeah, Bill's working on it right now.
Not fire.
So right here, is this where you guys are harvesting it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the windrow, that it's come, I guess, on the right side. So typically, that's swath 2 to 3 weeks before, and it's really just kind of left out to let the seed dry, and that just makes it a lot easier for the seed to actually be separated from the rest of the stem. And so, like in the back, it's not as dusty because this is tall fescue, but that's where the chaff and everything else kind of comes out. So.
Okay. No, yeah, that's really cool. These are a lot of cool shots right here.
Which drone are you using?
So that would be the Mavic Air 2. So yeah, it does a pretty good job. But again, driving the combine and trying to unload and get some decent shots, so wasn't the easiest thing to do.
So you don't have GPS on the combine?
No, but on the swathers we do. And so like growing up, driving swathers, it was a lot more manual work in regards to staying right on the edge of the cut. And so that's one of those things where, if I was by myself, I would do a great job. But if my dad was in the cab with me, I get nervous and start to make mistakes. But thankfully now with the swathers, so I think Stacy last week talked about RTK and that technology. So the swathers use RTK, and I mean, even when we're doing dirt work or planting, we also use RTK because it's just a lot more reliable. And once you kind of get locked onto the line, you just let the machine do its thing and you can focus on other aspects. But when it comes to combining, you can use RTK technology, but that's more useful in the wheat than it is when there's windrows. So.
Can you do you know the cultivars in the mixes?
I'm sorry.
They're
straight blends.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So they would be straight varieties.
I guess mono
stand. Okay.
Yeah. But now, if your neighbor wins, one of you get one bag, one of you get the other, mix it up.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
But I mean, that's definitely the input that I was also looking to get is with us coming up with 2 more varieties in addition to the 3 that we already have would be input on variety names. I know that's something you guys brought up on last show. So I'd definitely love to get ideas because, I mean, what a better resource to get ideas for names than enthusiasts. So
hit us with your best names right now. I'm going to pull them all up.
Well, yeah, as far as if you're asking if we have names, yeah, I guess we're kind of haven't really thought too hard about it, and I thought this would be a good starting point.
So I was trying to get the chat to participate. I'll pull them up if they have anything good.
Ooh, is that one more name? Oh, I got more names coming in. Hold on. I got the wheel set up, but it looks like there's 2 more. Brad Fargo, Frank, and
three.
Jerry Shepard. Shepard may already be in there, though. Let me see. I got Jerry Shepard already. All right. So I'm going to get these guys in. Last call and getting your name in.
Man, we got to. Well, we'll get to that.
I haven't seen anyone drop a good name for a seed yet.
Yeah, well, and I was gonna say the other thing too is if you guys come up with something later, or I guess even if your wife or friend or whomever comes up with a name that you think is good, I mean, definitely feel free to message us on Instagram or email me, which is just servando at bergerseed.com with those names. But also now that we're starting to get to the point where we have 3 or 4 varieties, if you guys also have any good names for blends, would definitely love to get input on those because Berger's Best Blend doesn't really have a good jingle to it. So.
Berger's Best Blend.
I like the KOTG special.
Ooh. About the grass special. I like that.
Special seed.
Mm-hmm.
DLG.
DLG. All
So
right.
do you know if there's any spreading fescue varieties?
Yeah, so when it comes to rhizomious varieties, so as far as ours go, the Integrity and Extreme Green wouldn't really have those rhizomious properties. I know that that's more common in the bluegrass, and that's starting to get into the tall fescue, because really, I think tall fescue has really originally just been a bunch grass. So the rhizomias technology is fairly new when it comes to genetics, but when it comes to the integrity and extreme green, it's not going to be anything like what's, I guess, most recent on the market when it comes to genetics of lateral spread. So.
Berger's combine fire mix.
Fire mix. I like that.
Fire mix. Berger's fire mix. Burgers and fries would kind of be sweet too. You like Bergweiser.
Bergweiser. That's a good one. That might be copyright. Too close. Oh, jeez. Well, should we spin for one of the ones they've already named, you guys?
Let's DJ spin that shit.
Let's do it. I'll hop the next episode.
Side.
West side.
West side. Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, buddy. So they get to pick out which one, and then the next person gets to choose from what's left, or do they all get to choose whichever one they want?
No, so they can choose which
one.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if all 5 of the winners want to go with top shelf or integrity or extreme green, that would work. So
I'll pull it up again at the end here. Where we're done going through these.
Those are all good names, though. Like top shelf, it's hard not to go wrong with top shelf. But then, extreme green, integrity. All right, should we do the next one?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Ooh, Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Right on. Congratulations.
Man, 50 pounds.
What you could do with 50 pounds of tall fescue. My goodness.
What I would do with that big sack.
Yeah, I'm just curious for those guys that win. Put it in the chat, like what you're planning on doing with it. If you're doing a full renovation, if you're overseeding, if you're going to use it for a project or whatever. I think that'd be cool for everyone else to see what your intentions are with it.
Hey, this is
we're going to hold you to it
right here.
Ooh, yeah. Historic Oregon names, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it the Trail 2.0.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Right there.
The covered wagon.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Broken spoke.
That's a good one.
Broken spoke. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, man.
There you go.
All right.
He's doing 10K overseeding.
I'll just take a couple cents per bag of royalties. You can use that name.
Dysentery tall fescue. Donner seed. Oh, no. Okay. All right, let's spin one more time. Let's get this last one away, guys.
Let's do it. Bradley.
Ooh, Mr. Fargo. What are you going to do, buddy?
Nice.
Woo. All right. Uh-oh.
Awesome. And was that just 3 winners there, Bill?
Yeah, that's them, man.
Well,
I can shoot you. I can get their info for you, and I'll send it to you. I'll email it to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got 2 more to go. We're doing 5.
Oh, we're doing 5. Oh shit. Okay, I forgot about it. Okay, yeah, let's do it, guys.
Man,
You want to do it now?
Dang.
Let's keep going, man. Okay, yeah.
you're trying to short out the.
Whoa.
All right, let's get them tunes up. Ooh.
I like it.
Break it up.
Rolando.
Some new names
Nice.
in here tonight. That's
Yeah.
It's not. I figured Lucky Green would win at least one since he's won like the last 5 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. All right, so this is the last one. All right. Okay. I don't know why I had three in my head. I forgot it was five. Shuffle.
No. Yeah, man. Who let the dogs out? So we're gonna get drunk one guy to dress up like that fella? Mm-mm. What's this?
What in the world?
All right.
Good job, Jason.
We back.
Yeah, it's
Great. So yeah, so if you're one of the 5 lucky winners, shoot a message to the KOTG Instagram account with your name, address, and your choice. And that way we can pass that information on and get that sent out to you whenever.
Yeah, and if the winners want to look at more technical data, they can go to the NTEP trials themselves and look at all 3 of those. And the only 2 that we would have tech sheets for would be the Extreme Green and Integrity. If you go on our website, and that kind of just has the, I guess, summary of the NTEP results from those trials. And on the top shelf, since that's fairly new, we're still working on that tech sheet, but also for waiting for this round of the NTEP trials to complete. So,
Servando, I'll have to go rewatch this and pull up all those name suggestions, and I'll send those to you too, because I think there's some good ones in there. You should take those back to the to the higher ups and see what they
chief.
say.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
for sure. For sure. No, definitely. Yeah.
Some of them are goofy, obviously, but there's some interesting ones in there. You never know.
Yeah. But yeah, so awesome.
I like that.
Start over. Awesome.
All right, so you guys are on there as Berger International on Instagram. I know that because I found you guys.
Yeah.
If we were wanting to buy some Berger seed or look you guys up, where can we find you? And do you guys sell online? Can if I'm in Missouri, could you ship some out to me? Like, how does are you guys doing that yet?
Yeah, so no, because again, we haven't really broadened the horizon when it comes to selling out of the valley. So right now, again, we can't fulfill the capacity that the other seed companies can that are 100 times our size. So what it is that I guess we're really looking for is a few deep-rooted relationships throughout the rest of the United States. And so, I mean, because they know that they're going to get a quality product, but also we don't really have a lot of people since it is kind of a newer market to us, expanding outside of the state, we don't really have a lot of people to please. So I guess when we build those deep-rooted relationships, whether it's a sod farm or a distributor, they can, I guess, really know that they're going to be able to source the seed when they need it and have a reliable source for it. So, yeah, I mean, if I guess whoever it is that your nearest distributor is, reach out to them, and it comes out to be more cost effective on the shipping for sure. If a distributor buys half a truck or a couple pounds, then it would be shipping 150-pound bag. But if you guys really want to try it, definitely reach out to us. My email again would just be servando@bergerseed.com, or DM us on Instagram, and we'll get you guys squared away. So
awesome. I was curious too, because you were talking about, you guys want to ramp up your production, and expand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, since you only get one harvest per season, would you just have to allocate more, like a higher percentage of your guys' growing land to this crop versus whatever else you're growing, or are you guys looking to purchase or lease more property to grow on?
Yeah, so I mean, we're always looking for more rental ground, but here in the Northern Valley, it's pretty hard to come by. So with the Integrity, something that we started doing a couple of years ago, since the 6 generations go back, I mean, there's a lot of farmers that the company and family have known for a while. So when it comes to the Integrity, we actually have 2 other farmers that also grow it for us.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of a little bit similar to what, grass seed companies do with having other people produce. But again, those relationships have just come over time because there's a lot of trust involved with that. Since we're so particular about our quality, we want to make sure that if we have somebody else producing it, that we're going to get the quality that we ourselves would get.
So I know we asked earlier about like your guys' fertility program, and you're more on the sales side.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you know? Like, do they, is it like a whole thing? Do you guys have your top guy, that kind of your agronomist or whatever they're called, turf manager, like come up with your program? Is it something that's kind of like set in stone? Does it evolve over time? Do you know much about?
Yeah, so it definitely evolves over time. And so the 6th generation would be Derek, and he's kind of, I guess, oversees all the farm operations of how crops are doing, what to add. But even then, we have agronomists from fertilizer companies here in the Valley. I mean, the ones that come to mind would be like Proud & Co-op, which I think you guys maybe heard of, and then Wilbur Ellis, and then Simplot would be another one. But they kind of have their own agronomists that kind of come out, look at the crops for us, and then kind of suggest a fertilizer program about
kind of like
what
a
to add.
Consultant or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but so that's kind of how it is that works. It's a little bit different as far as I know when it comes to the actual fertilizers, broadleaves, herbicides, and pesticides used than maybe what a homeowner would have access to. So
I'd be curious what your guys' water bill is. Do you guys
do you guys irrigate?
Yeah, so we do have some irrigated land, but a large portion of that is just dry land. So it's just depending on the rain here. And I guess that's what makes the Willamette Valley so nice to grow grass seed, is because we do have very favorable conditions when it comes to dry land growing. So
I figured there's got to be some reason why so many folks are out there growing grass in that area.
Yeah,
I was always curious, because grass isn't always, it's not all Oregon, but you guys do a lot out there. So
yeah, so it is very advantageous to have irrigated land. So like in a year where there's extreme drought, those crops really won't be affected as much. Whereas everything that's on dry land is really just dependent on getting some decent rain. So
nice, awesome. Well, does anybody else have any questions in the chat, or you guys have anything else for Servando about growing grass, their grass?
But
I was curious, like, I think you were kind of talking about the agronomists and all that stuff. Like, so do you guys go out and pull pH samples, and like, do they look at that? And like, is there, I mean, obviously with hundreds of acres, is there a way to like soil management that way, or you just kind of whatever's there, you got to work with it?
No, so the agronomists from those fertilizer companies would come out and pull soil samples, and so especially when it comes to like lime application, because before it would kind of just be spread lime all throughout the field, but now that there's more technology involved, it's getting different representative samples throughout the field. So then that way, with the newer technology that we have when it comes to sprayers or spreaders, there's a different application rate for, I guess, changes in the field versus just applying a lateral application throughout the whole field, because some parts of the field might not need certain things. So I guess, there's quite a bit of soil sampling involved, and I guess just basing our application on that, because it saves us a ton of money in the long run of not applying the same thing to the whole field, but really just the areas that need it. So.
Yeah, is the Oregon, like that valley in that area, is the soil pH typically like where you guys run higher or low? Because you just said you had lime, so I was just curious if you're typically on the low side or not.
Yeah, so I think typically, I don't know the name of the soil, but I think that typically is, because I know from what I remember, from thousands or whatever years ago when the Missoula flood happened, a lot of the stuff from that flood came over to the Oregon part and ended up in the Willamette Valley. So if you know what kind of soil was in the Missoula flood, that's kind of what we have here. So
I see a couple of the guys that won a bag are asking, if you're in the southeast Missouri, the transition zone, would you recommend one of the fescues over another?
I can look into that, because again, when it comes to the NTIP trials, there's a specific category, if I remember correctly, that talks about the transition zone. So I could definitely look at all three of those and I guess see what it is that would be best. I
would imagine they'd all work pretty good though, because fescue does pretty good out here. I mean,
right. So tall fescue would be the best. Exactly. So it's going to do good. And the other thing when it comes to enthusiasts such as you guys, is I guess there's a lot more attentiveness to what it is that the lawn actually needs. And so I guess like a short little story. So there's a seed conference in Kansas City that happens every year. It's called the Western Seed Conference. And that's where all the seed companies and dealers kind of go to meet. I was taking an Uber ride back to the airport and was talking to the driver kind of about, what it is that we do. And so he asked me, well, what grass seed is best? And I said, well, my biased opinion would be obviously tall fescue, because tall fescue is the best. But the realistic answer would be, well, it depends on what it is that you're looking for. Because if you're looking for something lush to walk barefoot on, tall fescue may not be the best option for you, unless if you have some decently calloused feet. So if you're looking for a nice lush lawn, definitely some bluegrass, definitely some perennial. But if you're looking for something that can take a beating and handle drought pretty well, then it's going to be tall fescue. And the reason why he asked me which one was best is because he said that he got some fescue from, some seed from a store, and that he threw it out on his lawn and it didn't grow. And so I kind of started asking him what it is that he was doing when it came to watering programs, and if he added any pre-emergent, or if he added any starter fertilizer or anything like that. And he said that he kind of just threw it on the bare dirt there and watered it pretty much once a day. And so, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, there's a lot more that should be done in preparation. And especially when you're germinating seed, it should be constantly keeping that seed wet. So watering 2 to 3 times a day versus just once until it's established. And so, I guess that's something that really caught my eye when I first heard about KOTG, is just the knowledge and I guess the care for everything that goes into it, not just throwing seed out and hoping for the best.
So you mentioned that you kind of found us on your own little DIY journey. How's your lawn looking? What are you growing? I'm guessing it's fescue, but but you're also in Oregon, so it could be something else.
No. So when we bought the house, it was perennial in the front yard and perennial in the backyard, but the backyard was really uneven. I think there was a difference of about 20 inches from the top of the mound to the lowest dip. So I had to completely retill that, and I put top shelf in my backyard. Since the soil hadn't been touched in forever, a lot of weeds came up. And since it was close to harvest, because another thing too was that I seeded it around June. So it was a lot of watering. The heat helped, but there was a lot of watering involved. And I guess when I was first watering, I mean, there was a ton of dandelion weeds just falling on the lawn.
I got it.
And just knowing that, well, I can't really go out there to do anything about it because I'm going to ruin the lawn.
Yeah.
So, I would just have tall fescue in the back, and then once that's fully established and taken care of, then gonna do tall fescue in the front as well.
All right. So is that your plan, like this upcoming season? Then is to get the backyard looking real good, and then start to focus on the front.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something else too that again I enjoyed about KOTG, because throughout the seed industry, there's a lot of salesmen that, and not that it's bad, but a lot of salesmen that don't really care about their lawn or use their own product. I really believe in what it is that we have, so of course I want to use it. And if don't get good results, then I guess go back to the drawing board. I think the only time I've heard that you shouldn't use your own product has been like in movies. Where there's a drug dealer, don't use your own product.
I'm hooked on integrity, you guys. Yeah. I would say this is different because like most people, like you guys that work in the industry, and you're kind of around this stuff all the time. There's none of us want to bring their work home with them, but you guys are a little bit different in that you're home, having a lawn or having a yard that your family can enjoy, or that you enjoy taking care of is different than, us coming home and working on diesel trucks or whatever it may be, I don't know. So it's cool. It's cool that you're into it, and, you're kind of, I don't know, kind of like us, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. And I think Jason commented that he didn't see the top shelf on the website. It would just be the Integrity and Extreme Green on the website. Since top shelf is new in production, we're still working on the bag design, the logo, and the tech sheet. But that tech sheet should be on there by the summer. So, but as for now,
top shelf. All right.
Yeah. The info on the top shelf.
It might be a blank bag that looks like it's from the black market then.
Yeah, well, and that's why I didn't provide Zach with the picture of the top shelf, because it's just in a plain poly bag, so not really much to look at there. So
I was gonna say the bags did stand out with that green. You know, when I saw the pictures that you sent, I was like, all right, cool. I hadn't seen them before, but I was like, that's a cool design. You know, simple,
Yeah.
but you know, it looks good.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, Olee, you want to talk about what we got next week? We got
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna see if I can pull up. Let's see if I can share my screen.
yeah, share that screen, man.
After y'all were laughing at me for stretching, I was reaching for dreams. You know, you don't reach, you can't catch them. So,
That's gonna be a reel tomorrow.
hey, boy, I was reaching. Let's see. Can I share my screen? Let's see if it works.
Come on.
If not, I got something pulled up for him.
I got something I want to show.
Oh,
Let's see. Entire.
Yeah,
Hang
just do your
on.
whole thing. Just don't have any creepy
get the
tabs
magnifying
open.
glass, everybody.
Magnifying glass is bigger than that. I only lost an inch. Let me figure. How do
Blowing
I
accident.
Hit present.
I'm on present. Do I do window? Do I do entire screen? What do I
Just do the entire screen. That's what I did, and then
Yeah,
it's
then you
fine.
like it on.
It looked bigger on the entire screen. Let's see. Select, share.
So, is that why you got a big screen TV?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Why they got the 80-inch?
All right, hold on. That didn't
Pull up
work.
what you want to pull up, and I'll get it up.
You'll get it up.
Mm-hmm. Pull it up.
Oh,
I see it
that-
down here.
it's that time of the hour.
I am trying. My
Are
best.
you backstage yet? Come on now.
What am I supposed to do?
I see him
I
back
don't
door.
Olee cannot get it up.
There we go. Yeah, there it
Whoa.
is. Yeah.
No,
Okay,
that
so it's
wasn't
up there. It's not so you can't look at us and pull it up at the same time. So you have to click to that tab, and then Zach will pull it up on the screen.
Here, I'll pull up what I got. How about you go ahead and announce it?
No, just hold on. I gotta show you this. How do I do this? Somebody help me out.
So you just go to that tab on your browser. You won't see us anymore, but just open that
Yeah,
up, 'cause
click-
basically it's showing what you're seeing on your screen, so you can't see.
Yeah, go to what you want to show us. Click what you want to show us.
All right, well, first, I need to get this out of the way, don't I?
No, just click what you want to show us, and I'll do the rest.
It's
Man.
mirroring your screen. It's showing
This
what you're
is-
seeing.
This
so.
is the best anticipation for announcing who's on the
yeah,
show
right.
next
This
week.
is awesome.
It is worth it.
I don't remember who was on next week. So this is awesome.
Just tell us who the damn guest is.
Hold on. I'm trying to get this dang. I don't.
Oh no!
That's even. And the guest is
Oh,
Slick.
I didn't
Slick.
do that. I don't know what happened. I didn't do that.
I'm gonna cut for commercial break, you guys.
Should we show him?
Always out.
Show him who it is.
Well, Zach,
like
it's all you.
I don't.
So-
Do we want to steal as a Thunder? Can he get back on?
Well, Olee talked
man.
about his internet. He's gonna he may not have any internet, so he's talking about that. Maybe that's what it was. Didn't pay that bill.
That was his power shutting off or
Yeah.
something.
Really, I can do this.
There he is.
There he is.
All right,
You
I'm
know
gonna try
you're
this.
gone
one.
for 5 minutes.
All right, Olee, share your screen, man.
I'm doing my best.
All right.
Now, I have what I want to share.
Can you pull it up, Zach? What do we
I can get it up right now if he wants.
Nope.
do it? Come on, I want to see. I'm curious. Come on.
Good Lord.
What are we gonna see?
Who's the
Another
guest
exception.
next week? That's all I want to know is who the guest is next week.
God dang it. Damn it. I'm about to drop some words.
Hey, at least you're not trying to give a bunch of stuff away, making everybody wait.
You want me to
I don't
pull it up?
understand why this is so hard, but it definitely is. I don't know why this is so difficult. Can't use certain words around giggly.
Come
Yo.
All right, I'm trying one last time.
Come
Then
on
I'll
now.
say screw it.
on.
Get it up. Get it up.
You know,
Olee, there's a blue pill for this. You know that?
I don't need that shit, boy.
Is he sharing his screen, Zach? Do you have him backstage?
I got him in the back door right now.
But the problem is, I got the picture in on there. Why can I not put it where
Share
it
your
needs to be?
screen. Hit present, share screen, and then click it.
I mean,
I
it's just
did.
going to show whatever's on your screen. So if we're on your screen, you're going to see that
Mother Fletcher.
you have to.
See, if anybody reads any of my stuff and say, "What's wrong with this dude?" It's because I'm ignorant.
Next week on KOTG, we're gonna have a behind the scenes of how to work.
There you go, Olee. You got it right there. I'm about ready to show it right now.
All right, yeah.
Show it.
Here we go. Next week, episode 105.
Do you see my confession is
there we go.
I've lost an inch. I'm no longer the one with the biggest deck.
Oh, we're
You're
tied.
60.
We're tied.
Mm-hmm. But I gained.
I was say that looks like a fresh
I gained
job.
8 horsepower.
Ooh, you gained some stamina on me.
Okay.
So I'm at 40 total horses, spring suspension, adjustable weight suspension seat.
Vibrating seats.
No, it's cushion and smooth, baby.
Heated hand grips.
Nah, it's warm enough here. I don't need that.
Do you have it yet, or is it on the way? Have you?
That is sitting
That
on
is
my
it?
trailer. That is it.
Have you driven it around? Have you mowed it with it yet, or not yet?
I've drove it. I've rode it. I have not have not engaged the blades.
Not engaged the blades.
You're gonna have to put one of those stripe.
next week.
You have to
Stripe.
christen that mow. You know.
You have to put a stripe mat on the back of it.
I got to get a stripe mat on the back.
Olee, does it have the air conditioned cab?
No, sir. No, I got to be where I can hear and see, and the neighbors can hear me sing. Because
He wants to wear the hat and have the sun. Come
yeah, I
in.
gotta have my straw hat. I gotta have my beats.
Is that 3 blades, Olee?
3 blades, yes, sir.
3 blades.
This is a new design deck. What it is, it's the same exact blades that's on my 2012, but they pulled them in a little bit to give overlap,
Yeah.
and you have a faster mile per hour mow now that's clean. So this is the newest deck design.
So you can mow faster because they're spinning faster.
Well, they got a better overlap.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Nice, man.
So let's see.
So yeah, we had our first mowing. Mowing manufacturer was Grasshopper, and next week we have Ferris mowers.
Yes.
Sweet.
Next week is Ferris mowers. Spring suspension.
Yeah. I'm just walking around my lumpy grass. All right, boys. Well, Ferris next week. Let's call it a night, man. Let's wrap this up.
Maybe I need to learn how to share my screen.
We're gonna the after hours show tonight is gonna be
We'll work on that.
how to work.
Cool learning about Berger though. That was really cool.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Servando. This was awesome.
Farming side and stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and look forward to being a part of every show every week. So yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, tune in, come back. You can come back on in the fall or something, and talk about what you guys got going on.
Yeah, give you guys a crop update. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone goes out to Instagram and looks up Berger International and gives them a follow. I see you guys just started your account like last week or this week. So
started on Friday. So I was actually talking to one of the guys from Turf Merchants, and he asked if we had an Instagram, and I was like, oh, well, no, but start one right up. Yeah.
So are you running it then?
Yep, exactly. So when he said that, stayed up a little late, and again, I have a ton of drone video footage, but just haven't made the time to go through it. So that was the first video I put out. So lots more to come on that end. And
post all those photos and everything, man. You should post those, all that stuff people would be into.
Yeah, for sure. And with the winners, if it's a landscaping company and they do it on one of their customers' lawns, or if it's their own, we'd definitely love to put those pictures up, because since we haven't really been pushing our varieties out, we'd love to have those testimonial pictures for sure to advertise. So
awesome.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight, y'all. We'll see you next week, too.
Hey, one thing.
Valentine's Day, but it's also keep off the grass.
Wait.
So
I was just going to say,
okay.
next week is Valentine's Day. So your Tuesday night is going to be spent here. Yeah. So you have 1 week to get your wife or significant other a gift. That way you can be in the chat next week, because if you don't get a gift, you're
I'll be
asking
the
to
doghouse.
chat. You will not be in the chat if you don't remember Valentine's Day.
The video to that picture is where he was talking. He stopped by somewhere and got his wife a gift.
Yes, that's what.
And he's want to talk junk about a blue pill, and he stopped and got her a gift.
Hey, I'm about ready to go give her that gift right now, boys.
Oh my god! Tacos and turd.
Go Hawks!
Thank you.